What's happening, guys? GT Pathing 101 here, and welcome to my Hungarian Grand Prix review for the 2013 Formula 1 World Championship. Big congratulations to Lewis Hamilton for his first win at Mercedes and his first win of the season, his 23rd victory of his career, and his fourth victory at Hungary. And also another interesting fact is that Kimi Räikkönen has finished second in all the races that Lewis Hamilton finished first. Could this be repeated next year? Well, who knows what will happen. And also another interesting Lewis Hamilton fact, which I saw, was that Lewis Hamilton so far has got more points than what he achieved last year at McLaren at this point of the season. I think it was by 3 points. He's ahead by his old points this time last year at McLaren, but just shows the critics and those people who believed that Lewis Hamilton will have a terrible year at Mercedes because of their terrible year last year. That Lewis Hamilton was going to have a terrible year because their car wouldn't be fast enough, the team isn't good enough. Lewis Hamilton here at Mercedes, why did he move there? One idiot. But turns out the critics and the haters were the idiots, and Lewis Hamilton was correct. It was an amazing move to Mercedes, surprising one, I have to admit, but I believe in Lewis, and I'm just really happy that he won. And I'm sure every single Lewis Hamilton fan in the world is ecstatic that he's finally, after 10 races, he's won his first race at Mercedes. His teammate Nico Rosberg, opposite, on the other hand, did not have as good of a fortune, good of a race as he hoped. He had an engine fire and unfortunately had to retire. And engine heating and, well, pretty much heating and cooling overall was a big factor, because we were expecting temperatures, ambient temperatures of at least 40 degrees. But apparently it peaked at around about 35 degrees, I believe. So brakes, engine, hydraulics, radiator, all these things were taken into account in terms of cooling. But Mercedes were pretty much got their cooling spot on, and they were worried a bit when they saw Nico Rosberg's car on fire in the back end. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame for him. He's currently 6th ahead of Felipe Massa, Romain Grosjean, and Paul di Resta in the Drivers' Championship. There's still time to catch up with Mark Webber, but he has to do it fast because those Red Bulls will just sail ahead of him. And also McLaren are starting to pick up some pace. They're starting to starting to learn this car. I mean, they've been learning this car throughout the season, but they just never had the potential, and they never had like the race to really understand the car. They never had the chance to understand the car. They never had the chance to ask the car, what do you want from us to make you a happy car, to drive around the corner really fast and be the fastest car on track. Currently, obviously, it's not the fastest car on track, but they finished ahead of both Force Indias. In fact, both Force Indias retired, but they were going to finish ahead of them anyway. Jenson Button finished 7th, and Sergio Perez finished 9th. Overall, really good weekend for the McLaren boys, finishing in the top 10. Kimi Räikkönen and Lotus were being a bit ambitious with the tire strategy once again this weekend. They learned from their mistake last weekend that if Kimi Räikkönen stayed on track and then pit for a pit stop, and instead went for a 2-stop, he could have won the race. But they didn't know, and what they did this time was that they did stick ahead of Sebastian Vettel and just managed to 2-stop for Kimi Räikkönen. So as a result, he finished 2nd ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And in terms of the Pirelli tyres, these new tyres, the first race with these new tyres for the 2012 construction and 2013 compounds, Mercedes are really looking good on them. A lot of people, and I have to admit, even myself, was thinking that Mercedes will struggle because they've been struggling all season with these tires, but apparently it wasn't to be, and Hungary was a really good track for them, really good race for them. And even Lewis Hamilton admitted with an interview with Martin Brundle and the Sky Sports F1 team that he said that he probably won't win the race, but he did, Lewis. For the first time ever, I'm going to say this, Lewis, you were wrong that time, mate. So let's just have a quick look at the top 10. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel, obviously. Mark Webber, he had a pretty good race, and he had really good battles out there. He had a really good battle with Lewis Hamilton, but unfortunately it was Nico Hülkenberg with the Sauber who held him up a bit too much as they went into turn 4, and Lewis Hamilton just managed to go past him, and it was a really good move. So Mark Webber 4th, Fernando Alonso 5th. And what I think about the Ferrari is that Ferrari really has to put their act together, put the foot down in terms of development. Unfortunately, they're having problems with their new wind tunnel at their factory in Maranello, so they're currently using a temporary outdoor wind tunnel. Don't really know where that is, but it probably is at Ferrari. So they have to get the wind tunnel sorted as soon as possible. They've got a month left. They've got a month till Belgium. 25th of August, but is when the Belgian Grand Prix will be at, and beyond. So they've got plenty of time to start the wind tunnel, get the development on the go, get the development as fast as they can. Because if at this pace, if Ferrari keeps their car as it is, if they keep development as it is at this current pace, Lotus and Mercedes and Red Bull will just sail ahead of them, and Ferrari will have no chance on taking the constructors, and Fernando Alonso won't have a chance of taking the Drivers' Championship. Behind him was Romain Grosjean. He was a big favourite to take the victory. He started 3rd and had a fairly good start, and he had a pretty good battle ahead again with Fernando Alonso and some of the top guys. But yes, 6th place is pretty good place for Romain Grosjean, a good heap of points for him, and hopefully he can improve this for the rest of the season. Currently he's 8th in the championship, just behind Felipe Massa. So yeah, we just hope that Romain Grosjean can pick up the pace and hopefully he can go up the Drivers' Championship. Behind him was Jenson Button to finish off the top 10. Jenson Button, Felipe Massa in 8th place, Sergio Perez and Pastor Maldonado. Big congratulations to the Williams team for their first career, for the first point of the season. Shows that the Williams are really doing good with their car, and hopefully they can keep up with the development process as well. And so if we're looking into the Drivers' Championships, in first place Sebastian Vettel ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, past Fernando Alonso. Lewis Hamilton 4th place, Mark Webber 5th, Nico Rosberg 6th, Felipe Massa 7th, Romain Grosjean 8th, and to finish off the top 10, 9th and 10th is Jenson Button and Paul di Resta, who had to retire after a failure with his engine, I believe it was. So in the constructors, can't say that right. First place Red Bull Racing, 2 was Mercedes, 3rd Ferrari, just ahead of Lotus. 5th place is across India ahead of McLaren, 7th is Toro Rosso, 8th Sauber, 9th Williams, who finally got their first point, and 10th and 11th is Marussia and Caterham. And talking of Toro Rosso, Red Bull is hoping to announce their driver to replace Mark Webber next season. It's pretty much a battle with Kimi Räikkönen against Daniel Ricciardo and Jean-Eric Byrne, but people are saying Paul di Resta could join in there as well, but I don't really think so, to be honest. Paul doesn't really sit the team that much. He has to possibly could fill in McLaren's seat maybe when Jenson retires, but we don't have no idea when that will happen. So for me, I have to say that Daniel Ricciardo will take the seat next season at Red Bull. He's a really good driver, and I think Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel will just compete for the top seat in the team, and the team will just have huge headaches about this, and they'll just have huge arguments all the time, and they could just pretty much nuclear war as a team. So that's pretty much it in terms of the review. I'm going to be posting a channel update soon within the next few days, and also talk about a league that I'm going to be starting with a few mates, along with a few mates, but that'll be in the channel update. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and see ya.